Let's go to KFBK's Amanda Carroll. She joins us live now. She has response from both sides. Good morning, Amanda. So let's talk first about any major cuts so far in this proposal.
There really are no major cuts in this, but this is not done yet. Assembly member Kevin McCarty, a Democrat from Sacramento, says the plan right now is to fully fund programs and make up for it by borrowing, payment deferrals, dipping into our reserves, and expecting a federal bailout.
So the governor is still negotiating with the legislature to try to see if we can come to a more, long-term agreement on how much money we're going to take out of the rainy day fund this year, how much money we're going to have to borrow from special funds, and how much money we're going to have to use from federal sources. So while we did pass the budget, we're not done, and it's an ongoing process.
So this budget does leave schools fully funded. Now, the governor has 15 days to sign it, but McCarty says there are likely going to be some changes.
So, Amanda, how much in reserves does California actually have?
McCarty says $20 billion. And the governor's proposed budget said he wanted to use 1/3 of that to make up for the loss. The Democratic budget that passed yesterday wants to use half of the reserves. So that's kind of what they have to agree on. California Senator John Moorlach, representing Orange County, admits Republicans weren't all that happy with that. They were not involved in the process.
It's a bare bones, kind of a let's slap it together, get something done by June 15th budget. So you can expect plenty of trailer bills, adjustments, and the rest coming between now and the end of August.
If legislators didn't pass that budget as of yesterday, they would not have been paid, Sam and Christina.
One of the things, Amanda, that lawmakers are sweeping under the rug here is this. They're counting on a whole lot of money from the federal government, from Congress in this deal. And let's face it, there are a number of lawmakers in Washington, D.C. who have already said publicly on the record, we have no intention of sending money to California. California can figure out its own budget issues on its own.
Yeah, there were numbers thrown around yesterday, like asking for $14 billion from the federal government in a bailout, and that's extremely uncertain. So I think that's a huge chunk that they're going to have to figure out a way to make up if we don't get that money from the federal government.
And Amanda, let's talk about high-speed rail. I mean, that's just been a money pit. What is the talk about either cutting that or adjusting the money for that?
I was watching the proceedings yesterday. Republican Senator Shannon Grove mentioned that it was time to cut that. It's $2.9 billion in this budget to fund high-speed rail. So, that's one person that's standing up talking about that, but the Republicans are asking for these cuts. But there's a super majority on the Democrat side, so it's hard to be heard. But they did, they got to speak yesterday.
Well, what taxpayers and voters might find very interesting about this whole process is if lawmakers pass a proposed budget deal by June 15th, they get paid. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have to be signed. So like when you and I go buy a car or buy a house, they say, you got to sign on the dotted line for it to be a done deal. But that's not how it works at the state capitol. No. It's a different deal there.
They said you expect a lot of trailer bills and changes through August. So it's not over. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.